Hi, in today's video, we're going to explore the answer to the question, what foods are good for athletic performance? The fuel that you put in your body is going to be vital for you to be able to perform at your peak level. You need the right mix of vitamins and minerals and fats and proteins and carbohydrates and all those things. So we'll take a look at that in today's video. First part of this video, we'll talk a little bit about carbohydrates and how they function in your body and the importance of getting carbohydrates. Second part, we'll talk about proteins and the importance of having a protein-rich diet. Third, we're going to take a look at vitamins and minerals and fats and all those kind of aspects of your nutrition, the importance of those. Fourth, we're going to look at hydration and getting the right amount of water and electrolytes into your system. And then, of course, lastly, we're going to look at a real-life case study of nutrition and athletic performance. So it's really important to recognize that we can get our carbohydrates from a lot of sources, and the less processed food that we consume, the better. We just get more of the nutrients, and it's better for the body. It's more readily consumed by the body. So grains, whole grains, things like brown rice and quinoa and whole wheat and things like that, oats, are a good source of the carbohydrates that athletes would need. And again, the less processed, the better. Along with that, when you consume fruits and vegetables, fresh fruits and vegetables, and things like sweet potatoes, which are better than white potatoes, but those are rich in carbohydrates that athletes will need for their energy stores. It is the primary source of energy for athletics, is the carbohydrates that you take in. According to Dr. John Berardi, who is one of the premier athletic nutritionists in the world today and the founder of Precision Nutrition, when athletes don't get enough of those carbs and the right balance of the carbs, they will tend to not have the energy stores that they need for subsequent workouts. So think of an athlete who is in the midst of competition. There's competition that comes regular basis. And without the right mix of carbohydrates over the course of a season or the course of a number of workouts and things of that sort, your energy level tends to deplete without getting those right carbohydrates. The second aspect of nutrition, or what you consume for athletic performance, that's crucial, is proteins. Proteins are vital for muscle repair and recovery. So getting the right amount of proteins is really important, and not just the right amount, but the right type. So lean meats like lean beef and chicken and turkey and salmon, fish is a great source of protein. With the case of salmon, you'll also be getting some of those important fatty acids that we'll talk about in the next section. But consuming those, but also consuming those about 30 minutes after a workout to begin to kickstart that recovery process is really important. And again, that comes from that research of Dr. John Berardi. So if you want to avoid meats for whatever reason, you can also get the proteins from plant-based sources. And again, one of the great sources of that are lentils and beans and quinoa. So we got quinoa that is both in the carbohydrate side and it's also high in protein. So those would be outstanding plant-based sources of protein if you want to avoid meats for whatever reason that you might choose to do that. So protein, again, is going to kickstart that recovery process and the muscle building process. And you really need to make sure you're getting the right balance of protein. The third area we want to talk about is the right amount and balance of healthy fats. So fats are very important to have in your diet for both recovery, but also brain function. Dr. Berardi, again, has found that fats will assist in the recovery process after strenuous workouts. And there's also been other research showing its importance for proper brain functioning, which athletes also obviously need as well. So seeds and nuts such as almonds and um, flaxseed are really great sources of not only the the fatty uh, the fats that you need, but also certain vitamins and minerals, proteins uh, are also found in nuts and in seeds. So that's a very valuable source. Also fish and like salmon. You can get very healthy fats from salmon, some fish oils. And now you can obviously, again, the best sources are when you eat those directly, but you also can get supplements that athletes will often take, like fish oil and things of that sort, to help supplement and make sure you are getting enough of those fatty acids to both help in your recovery and your overall long-term health and well-being. I forgot avocados. I got to go one more. All right, and I'll start over because that wasn't all that fluid. Third area that we want to talk about is fats and the importance of fats in your diet and in your athletic performance. So you're going to get the healthy fats from things like nuts and seeds. Examples would be flaxseed and almonds. Those are great sources of not only the fiber and proteins and things you need like that, but also the fats that you need. Avocados are an incredibly good source of healthy fats and are good for your overall health and well-being and your heart health. We've also shown that the fats you can get from like salmon, so there's some fish in particular that have very valuable fats. By getting the right fats in our diet, we not only help our recovery again, and this goes back to that same research from Dr. John Berardi, but there's also other research that shows that it's vital importance in brain function and long-term brain function. So not only are you doing well in the immediate, and we all know that athletes need their brain functioning optimally in order to perform at the highest levels, but long-term, the impact on your brain health well into your later years is also requires all those proper fats in your diet. So that's the last area that athletes need to focus on as far as like the foods that they take in. So the last area we want to have our athletes thinking about in terms of what to consume is hydration. This is something that I think culturally in our culture today, we just do not hydrate well. I know that's been a challenge personally, is to stay properly hydrated. Very, very important for athletes. For athletes to perform at their best, they need to take in a lot of water. With that, they also will want us to take in electrolytes, right? So potassium and sodium and these minerals like that. So this is why a lot of these energy drinks are used after and even during extended performance. One thing you do want to be cautious about, though, with those is some of them have high concentrates of sugar, which are not necessarily the most healthy of carbohydrates to be pulling into your system. So you'd want to kind of be cautious about that. But staying hydrated, again, according to that research, Dr. John Berardi, just losing as much as 2% of your body weight through extended training or physical activity can drastically reduce your overall energy levels and performance on the athletic field or in the arena. So hydration is vitally important for not only performance in the moment, but actually your long-term health and well-being as well. For a real-life study, we're actually going to look at some case studies done, some actual research done by Precision Nutrition and others. The first was this idea of carbo loading. It's particularly for anybody, endurance athletes in particular. It is important, again, to recognize that this carbo loading should be done with the best quality of carbohydrates, meaning things like fresh foods, less processed food, whole grains, right? Things of that sort. are better sources for this carbo loading. But the idea is that you really load up on carbohydrates before the competition, something like a marathon or a distance event, and you're much less likely to experience that infamous wall that endurance athletes often hit. So that this idea of carbo loading provides you the energy throughout the competition that you need. The other area that athletes case studies showed is protein and the timing of protein intake. So if you are consuming the protein within 30 minutes after intense workout or competition, that's going to enhance your recovery. It's going to build more muscle mass than if you delay that 2 to 3 hours afterwards. So when you take protein is important, and doing so right after competition, right after intense workouts, is more beneficial than delaying it several hours after. Lastly, it's the idea of hydration, right? So properly hydrating during and after your activity, your workout, your competition, you are much less likely to experience the fatigue and the cramps and the soreness that athletes who don't hydrate properly during and immediately after the competition tend to experience. So hydration, proper hydration, and replenishing electrolytes as you need to is that third area that athletes will really want to make sure they focus on. Again, there's case study research that confirms that. I invite you to subscribe to our channel, check out our other videos, and you might be particularly interested in the video, How Can Sports Psychology Improve Athletic Performance? So check that video out today.